4,000 years ago, a man tied rope around his door and called it protection. That knot, that single piece of twisted fiber, stood between his family and everything dangerous outside. No metal, no key, no barrier, just trust and a little bit of hope. Hard to believe, right? But for most of human civilization, this was the reality every single night. What people did before locks existed will genuinely change how you see that key sitting in your pocket. Drop your city in the comments. Where are you watching from today? That rope did not hold forever, because here is the thing. The moment humans started owning things, other humans started wanting to take them. It sounds obvious now, but for thousands of years, most people lived in small tribes. Everyone knew everyone. Stealing from your neighbor meant getting caught by morning. Community was the lock. Then cities happened. Suddenly, you were not surrounded by people who knew your face. You were surrounded by strangers, hundreds of them, then thousands. And with strangers came a problem nobody had solved before. How do you protect what is yours from someone you have never met? Think about what people actually had worth stealing. Grain, gold, weapons, medicine. These were not luxury items, they were survival. Lose your grain storage in winter, your family starves. Lose your weapons, you cannot defend your land. The stakes were not just financial, they were life and death. So what did people do? First, they used guards, hired men who stood at doors through the night. But guards were expensive. Only kings and wealthy merchants could afford them. Regular people, they got creative. Heavy stones pushed against doors, wooden beams wedged into walls. Some families tied bells to their entrance so any movement would wake them up instantly. Let that sink in. Your entire night's sleep, your children's safety, depended on whether you heard a small bell ring in time. But here is what most people do not realize. None of these methods actually stopped a determined thief. They only slowed one down, and somewhere in the ancient world, a man realized that was not good enough. What he built next changed everything. That man lived in ancient Egypt, and what he built was not made of steel. It was not even made of iron. It was wood. Simple wooden device, pegs, a bar, and a key shaped like a giant toothbrush. You would slide the key in, lift the pegs, and the bar would release. Sounds basic, right? It was. But it worked. For the first time in history, one specific person, and only that person, could open a specific door. That was revolutionary. But Egypt was not alone in solving this problem. Across the ancient world, civilizations were coming up with their own answers. And some of them will genuinely make you uncomfortable. In Rome, wealthy families did not just lock their valuables. They chained enslaved people to the door, a human being used as a security system. No sleep, no break, just standing guard until morning. Let that image sit for a second. In China, early door bolts were designed so that only someone who knew a secret hand motion could release them. Wrong move, the whole mechanism jammed. You were not getting in. And in parts of ancient Greece, some homeowners kept large dogs directly behind their entrance, not as pets, but as living alarms trained to attack anything unfamiliar. Brilliant. Brutal. Desperate. Every single solution tells you something about how unsafe people actually felt. If this is already surprising you, the next part is where it gets really interesting. Go ahead and subscribe right now, because what is coming up is the moment one single invention quietly shifted the entire course of human civilization. You will not want to miss it. That Egyptian wooden lock was clever, but it had one massive problem. It was huge. We are talking about a key the size of your forearm. You could not carry it in your pocket. You could not hide it easily. And if someone found it, your entire security system was gone. So for centuries, the lock stayed a rich man's tool. Regular people still slept with one eye open. Then around 900 AD, something shifted. Metal workers in the Roman Empire began shrinking the mechanism. Smaller pegs, tighter springs. A key you could actually hold in one hand. For the first time, a poor family could own a lock. Read that again. Not a king, not a merchant, a farmer, a baker, someone with nothing but a small room and everything they owned inside it. That moment changed the psychology of ownership forever, because once ordinary people could lock a door, they started thinking differently about privacy, about personal space, about what belonged to them and what did not. Before locks, your home was just a shelter. After locks, it became yours. That is not a small shift. That is the foundation of how modern humans think about property, boundaries, and individual rights. Every law protecting your home today traces back to that one small metal device. Let that sink in. But here is what nobody talks about. This invention did not just protect people. It also created something darker, something that still shapes human behavior every single day. The lock did not just keep thieves out. It taught humans to distrust each other. Think about that for a second. Every time you lock your door, you are making a statement, not just about security, about trust. You are saying, I do not know who is out there, and I am not willing to find out. That feeling is ancient. It is wired into us now. But before locks existed, humans had something we have quietly lost. They had no choice but to rely on each other. Your neighbor's honesty was your only protection. Your community's loyalty was your alarm system. Locks did not just secure doors. They ended an era. Once people could shut the world out mechanically did. Walls went up, not just wooden ones, emotional ones. Historians actually track this shift. As lock ownership spread through medieval Europe, communal living slowly broke apart. Families stopped sharing storage. Neighbors stopped borrowing freely. The idea of mine became more important than the idea of ours. Here is the uncomfortable truth. The lock gave us safety, but it cost us something real. And today, the average American home has locks on every door, a security camera on the porch, and a Ring doorbell watching the street. We have never been more protected. And somehow, we have never felt more isolated. That is not a coincidence. It traces directly back to that first wooden peg sliding into place in ancient Egypt. One small invention, one massive psychological shift, thousands of years of consequences. Next time you turn that key, you are not just locking a door. You are carrying 4,000 years of human fear in your hand. And that is worth thinking about. That man in ancient Egypt, still tying his rope every night, had no idea what he started. One knot. One problem. 4,000 years of consequences. If this changed how you see everyday objects, this video is your next watch. It will surprise you just as much.